You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It's your host, Brian Fullerton here, hanging out with you guys, actually in a glorified hotel room that we are using and bumming in right now. We got a little...
it's like a little apartment in here.
It's a studio.
It's a studio. It's actually really nice. Paul is living the dream. So we're down here with the Almonds on the podcast. What's up, Caleb and Brittany Auman?
Hello.
Hello.
He says our name with an L.
Alman. Who?
It's the Michigan thing.
It is the Michigan thing?
Help me out. What are we talking about?
Almond?
Almond.
Almond.
No.
Like almond joy.
You call them almonds.
You got this
Caleb and
all.
Brittany Auman.
Yeah, you're like all. Yeah.
It's
like,
almond.
Almond.
That is.
Almond.
it's not worth hanging up over. I just think it's funny.
Red Rob.
I always feel bad when we have to spell our last name because it's always F-U.
Starts out with F-U. That's a good point.
Depending on what tech support person, like, can you spell your last name? I'm like, yeah, F-U-L-L. But if I'm really getting salty, I'm like, F-U-L-L. And they're like, oh, thank you, sir. I'd help you out now. But any which way. So we're hanging here with the Almonds, the Almond Landscape, LLC. We got Caleb and Brittany, who are phenoms, and not only hardscaping, but just in life. They're amazing people. We're here. We got Sean Spencer in the room. He's doing a lot with Instagram and GoProing, and they just got done doing a podcast in here with Almond Landscape, which, by the way, Kid Contractor Podcast.
Yes, sir.
Little shout out for that already. I think it's the first time I've talked about it on my show. But this is a brand new undertaking. So the funny story was about a month ago, they came up. We did a webinar series at our house talking about goal setting and vision casting. And it was a really good time. And while we were there, you know, we're fidgeting around with cables and webcams to do this webinar series. And I'm like, why don't you have the Rodecaster? And Brittany's like, what is the Rodecaster? So I bring in this Rodecaster up. It's this mixer board. If you guys ever want to get into podcasting, first off, don't DM me, DM Paul. He's the guru. But Paul helped me get a Rodecaster. And this Rodecaster, it's a plug and play, like kind of a podcasting board. Why is that light blinking? What is that?
If you push it, it'll go back to the the laughing thing. So you're...
If I hit it, so I don't know what it's doing.
Yeah, I don't know how to shut that down.
It just keeps blinking?
Yeah.
Well, it's paused. So it starts where it left off mid-track.
Okay.
So you don't get the same laughter.
It'll bleed it out after, like for another 5 more seconds.
Oh, you got it killed. That's why we can't hear it.
Yeah, but so I'll just let that go. And
it's
fine.
This is like Almond 101. Like it's just, when you get around Caleb, it's just.
We didn't read the directions when we opened it. We just
there's a light blinking
started pushing the buttons.
Got straight to it.
If you guys are listening in, you're like, what is going on this podcast?
Yeah,
but
it's downhill fast.
So we, the Almonds came up.
Yeah,
we had the webinar. Almonds came up. I got my spot. I know where I'm at. And so we set up the Rodecaster, and Brittany's like, this thing is awesome. And then Caleb's like, we're not buying that. We're not, podcasting. We're not doing that thing. I'm like, bat me. And 2 minutes later, we got done with the webinar. Brittany had already ordered this thing. And I go,
headsets and cables and all
$1,400 later probably, or something like that.
Yeah.
Right there.
The headsets really threw me off price-wise. But
yeah, $200. I'm wearing
it's
the wrong.
money well spent. Like, I didn't realize it applied to us because I had no intention of doing a podcast at the time. And I didn't realize the machine here applied to like us doing webinars. But dude, it's made that so easy.
Yeah.
And now there's so much stuff you can do with it, actually. We've done all sorts of goofy stuff.
If you do a Zoom or a webinar, you can Bluetooth the board to your computer. So it's like your microphone input. And then you can use the webcam or, an external webcam for your video. So it's great stereo for whether you're doing a podcast or, just Zoom or all these different things. And, technology is crazy. But spinning off of that, Caleb had the idea to start the Kid Contractor Podcast. How cool is that?
Yeah, I got goaded into it more than anything. I've been asked. No joke. Like we've been asked in the past. Like you guys ought to do a podcast.
Absolutely.
It's like nah. I felt really weird. And this is the cool thing about the Hype House that we were at here this week. And I was like, nah. I was really hem-hawing on it because it just felt like I was throwing just another hat in the ring. It was just not that it was gonna cloud the space or crowd the space and like have any effect on you or Paul's because you guys are killing the podcast thing right now, but it's just like it's just one more podcast in the green industry and just in the space, and it's like, and I don't know how serious we're going to take it, but man, we've done like a dozen now this week, or I don't even know how many we got. It's a bunch.
Yeah.
That I've found out I really enjoy it a lot.
It really is. I don't know how to describe it. I've really taken to it this last 12 months. I didn't know that I would enjoy podcasting as much as I did. I thought, honestly, it would just be a great avenue to just have people listen in and maybe give them a little encouragement during the day. But the conversations you have, people are like, what are you going to talk about? I'm like, I don't know, let's just hit record, and 45 minutes later, everybody just feels better.
I cannot believe, that's one thing I cannot believe how much time flies.
Sure.
Like 45 minutes is the snap of a finger. It's crazy.
Every guest I tell them, Caleb, I said, hey, we're going to talk, we're going to do a podcast. Like, well, how long are we going to do it? I go, most of them turn into about an hour. But when you get done, like you said, you literally feel it's a 5-minute time warp.
Yeah, it is. It's the weirdest thing.
And the funny thing is, when these guys are listening in, though, Caleb, I mean, you guys are hardscapers, so you guys kind of plan it at a job site. You guys can be there 2, 3, 4 days, maybe 1 or 2 weeks even, right? For my guys, when we're mowing, it's like you could, pull up to a lawn, listen to an episode, and maybe it's a shorter episode, 20 or 30 minutes or 45 minutes. But by the time you're done with that episode, you're done with that lawn.
Right.
And so when you're on a mower 6, 7, 8 hours a day, the guys that listen in my world, in my niche, they love listening to the podcast because, we're cutting grass all that time, and they can listen to the podcast while they're on the mowers.
Matter of fact, cutting that grass.
Making that cash.
Making that cash.
I said that at the end of Paul's show. He goes, all right, that's it for this episode of Cut That Grass. and I didn't pick up on his social cue, so it was like this awkward 2-second pause. And I go, make that cash? And he goes, come on, Fullerton, you're dropping the ball. And I said, no. I said, I'm just reading it back like you did on your audiobook.
Oh my gosh.
And dude, he was laughing so hard. I said, because Paul goes, yeah, if you guys listen to the audiobook, it's okay if you hit 1.5 times speed. Because Paul was, this is the Cut That Grass book.
It's weird with there no
Paul
copies
Jameson.
around.
I know. We're supposed to be at the High Foss. There's a copy on every chair, every surface. You get that one on.
It's crazy,
I put them away at the end of the day, and then Paul'd have them back out. And
yeah.
That's the one thing
staging
too.
them.
It's an e-commerce world and all that stuff and digital products, but there is something about a tangible book in your hands.
Mm-hmm. I love
I love
reading
physical
the book.
Yeah, like there's just something different about it, and they say even like reading on paper is different than reading like even in
on a Kindle.
Kindle, thank you.
Yeah.
On those things, there's it imprints in your brain differently, which I don't know. That's just true. I mean, there's people that do studies and all that stuff on it, and that's what I've seen. It's like studies say somehow there's something better about reading it from paper.
Smarter, learned people,
more learned than us, without a doubt.
More learned than us. But hey, one thing I got to say really quick for the almonds, babe, is when I was wrapping up the podcast with Paul. Paul's on the balcony right now interviewing Savannah Spencer, and they're having a good little powwow out there.
Yeah, on the prime location, by the way. I don't know.
Yeah, we got put in the broom closet over here, but it's Paul's room. Right?
Well, no, this is the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. So yeah, you also, for the Kid Contractor podcast. Yeah, I get it. I'm on the come up. I get it. I'll eat the dirt. I'll eat the dirt for now.
Shower.
That's a nice shower. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but I was just saying to Paul out there. I said because we were doing a little recap about the Hype House, and I said, hey, thank God that the almond, not the almond joys, but the almond landscape. I said, thank God for the almonds, because if they didn't choose the word execute this year, right, as like their word, then I don't know if that we would have executed on the green industry Hype House.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. And it, we're the same boat as Brittany might be able to piggyback off this, but a lot of great ideas. And everything's a great idea right now. For our lawn care business, we could add dethatching. We could add this service. We could grow this. We could do another truck, right? They're all good ideas. And then you look at social media stuff, like we could help people with webinars. We could help people with a monthly membership and do a monthly live stream. All these things and Facebook groups, right? And you guys that are listening in want this stuff because we apparently all are crazy and can't get enough of each other, right? But to go full circle, I was saying thank God for the almonds to have the word execute as their word for 2021. Because they made this green industry Hype House. It was a combination of everybody's idea, but it was really them that executed. Brittany's like, yo, I'm getting the house. Yo, we're getting the cars. We're doing this thing. And because of that, we had a dozen plus couples down here in Tampa, Florida, dozens of videos made, probably a couple dozen podcasts made. And it's just really, really exciting to see what this thing is turning into. So,
without a doubt, by the way, man, it's just crazy.
Liz, I'm going to go to you. We haven't got too much mic time. What do you think think about the week so far? Any highlights of your week? Any updates on everything that's going on? And you excited to go back home, or?
I don't want to go back home. I think we have snow there.
We do.
I think we should just stay here.
The Spencers are getting like between 3 and 12 inches because it changes every about an hour and a half. We're getting like the
3 to 12.
You ever see the meme? It's like 3 to 12 inches between sometime in the next week. Temperature is 0 to 80.
I think
it's
everybody
like we don't
should just
know.
go home and grab their kids and meet us back here.
Come on back.
Rendezvous, rendezvous south.
I was
Grab your dog.
Yeah.
I was like, can we do this again, like a little victory lap? Like one more week, and I'm sure we can find another house, Brittany.
I like the victory lap
I
concept.
found one for next year, I think.
Did you?
Yeah,
I'm good. I'm solid.
We have a good contender at least.
I like that. Well, let's go to the almonds. So let's talk about the fact that you guys picked the word execute this year. Talk a little bit more about the fact, Brittany, you were tired of seeing other people do thoughts that and ideas you already came up with, right? And let's be honest, we're all competitive. We're type A. We want to like make it happen, whether it's in business or in social media world, I guess. And so you're like these people.
Yeah,
somebody
like in
did
my dinosaur costume that I wore this week.
Yeah.
So like I saw other people doing things in the industry that we had talked about doing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well,
Got to be first to market.
okay, they went on
FDM,
that.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it gets my brain turned. I'm like, well, what else can I do that like one up or just different from that? That's where the webinar series was born. And I was like, I just reached out to Andy Mulder and Jeremy Swihart, two of our friends. I was like, if I pay you to do a webinar, can I come to your house and just people ask questions?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I guess. And like we had no idea how to make it work. Didn't research it at all, and just went there and made it happen. And then that that stuck.
Yeah,
people liked it, and so that created a whole series over the winter where we traveled every 2 weeks to do it.
And what made that different too is we would go to that physical location, shoot content all day, live and for free on our social channels, and then that night do a webinar. And like that was the build up to the webinar. Or if you didn't do the webinar, like we were still touring these guys' facilities and talking to them about business and stuff. So it's a cool combo. I think it really worked out.
And we tried to make it different from what everyone else was doing over the winter because COVID killed everything.
Yeah.
And so we gave people the opportunity to ask a question.
Yeah.
And I promised, even if we didn't answer it in the webinar, we would respond via email.
That is really cool.
So, we did that. And then we had the Hype House idea and we executed on that.
And not the Kid Contractor podcast?
And that was Caleb's idea, but the year is execution.
You know what I like is your the Hardscape hotline. I don't know
cool.
idea that was, but that's so cool.
That was like
the Hardscape hotline.
That was like an 8-hour idea. Caleb came up with that at dinner. He's like, we have to do that before anyone else.
Well, we
does
figured
it.
out we could run the
phone.
I don't want to give a secret away, but we could run the phone through the board.
Yeah,
and it's like
that's how we get guests on when we don't have them in person.
Well, I was like, we could just turn it on like a live.
So
we got a Google number and let her rip.
If you guys
it would be more successful if we had more people on YouTube.
Well, I think that's what keeps it manageable at the moment. Otherwise, like, can you imagine like you're live with a phone number?
But when we went live, I was so excited. I was like, Caleb, there's a person in here.
I know,
and then there's like 10 people in here.
Yeah, dude, people love hanging out. They if people are hanging out and their phones on their hip and they're just chilling, or it's late night at 10 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock in the morning, most people don't have too much going on, especially at least up in the Midwest, and it's the off season for a lot of us, and so it was really cool to see you guys do on YouTube is what these guys are referring to specifically. So if you guys ever see Almond Landscape on YouTube, go subscribe to their channel. And then it seems like it was like a Saturday morning thing. Is that what you guys are doing?
We've been doing it Sunday while the kids nap. That's the only quiet time in the house.
Yeah.
And it's cool because you can literally call and talk to us about anything you want. You can ask a question.
But we called out too. Like we would call out to people if the phones were slow.
I think you called B&B the first time.
Yeah,
or somebody.
Called Blake. Called a handful of guys. Yeah, you called in,
Paul.
which was cool.
I just called to like kind of get it going, and but I was watching. I this is probably too much, but I think I was in the bathroom, and
I was like, who are you talking to? And he's like, I'm on the Hardscape hotline. I'm you're pooping.
No, dude.
Oh man,
I got the notification because I'm subscribed to the channel.
He was in the plow truck.
No, dude. No, listen. I was not in the plow truck. I definitely was not in the plow truck because I get the notification. It's like almonds are because I think you said it for a premiere at 2 in the afternoon or whatever it was, and I'm like they're going live, and then you're like we're now taking phone calls with the Hardscaper. What is it?
Hardscaper hotline.
The Hotscaper. The Hotscaper. The
That's a different hotline.
Yeah, I call these all the time.
That's our after hours one.
Yeah, that one bills out at $4.99 a
That's the one that's actually making money. Yeah.
They can't wait to hear that phone call, But that one bills out different rate, you know what I mean? But I was like, hey, I'm gonna call the I said again the Hardscaper hotline, and you guys picked up, and I was like, hey, who's our first guest? And I'm sure they're like expecting like somebody with like a legitimate.
For those of you who don't know, we've like stalked the Aumans. We drove down. We were like basically like, hey, we're gonna come be your friend and like hang out with you at your house on Labor Day, and we have seen them every month since.
That was something that we wanted to execute on like 6 months ago. I was like,
success.
They're good people.
No, just chasing you down.
I figure if you show up at their house,
there's worse people that could do that to us.
If you show up at their house, they gotta let you in, right? Like hopefully, and thankfully Caleb wasn't packing, but
we did even after you were 6 hours late. We still opened the door.
And that's not exaggerating. Like we were 6 hours late.
Fullerton is Latin for late. You know what I mean? So
it's not my main
standard
name,
time.
That's why I need to get a plane.
If anyone thinks they're going to hang out with you guys, just let them know. Like they're usually 30 minutes to an hour late.
You know what's funny though? Like even to my mom, she's always late. So like when she's like, I'll be there at 7.
Your whole family.
I'm like, I'll see you at 7:45. Like
drives me nuts.
And it's I don't know. I heard somebody say recently.
She's like, that's fine because we actually were starting at 8.
Yeah, right. Well, we get over there and they had a little fire pit going, and it's like smoldering, it's like just the coals.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, what happened to the fire? He goes, we started at 2 p.m., dude. I went,
we took a nap before you guys came.
Seriously though, seriously.
That was worth it right there. That was something we don't get to do right now.
They're like drinking coffee and like the fire pit's already done. I'm like, you guys still want to do the bonfire? It's like all the wood's gone, dude.
Dude, it was dude. But we've enjoyed talking to you folks and hanging out with you folks so much.
I wanted to execute though, getting to know them more, because I even said like on a podcast I did with them in March or April, I said, if it's not on your calendar, it's not a priority.
Yeah.
And you can say it is all you want, but if it's not on your calendar, it's not a priority. And I said, I want to get down there to do videos with them. I want to get down there and hang out with them and just get to know them more. And I said, this is BS. I said, I'm not going to push this out for another 6 months and not get to hang out with people. I said, and guys, we're as busy as you guys are listening in. Like we don't have a spare weekend half the time either.
Associated at all costs though. It's worth it to hang out with people that bring you up, that fill you up.
Yeah. And
100%.
And thankfully they said sure, and we came on down and
and they were fine with it.
Yeah, I think we've literally seen them every month.
Every month since September.
Yeah, but even before that, I think we did once or twice in the summer, right? So it's been a crazy.
You came down to visit us once. Liz didn't come.
Liz didn't come. Is that right? Yeah, I need to get back down there because they got some cool toys down there. All the hardscaping.
I think we've been driving you, so I think we've been stalking you ever since then.
This is true. But I got to say, this trip's a little different though, because it's the first trip where it's not pouring, sleeting, freezing rain.
This is true.
I think somehow even in July when you guys came up or we came down, like it's always been raining with these guys, except when we went to their family property.
Fall and winter, to be fair.
Yeah, but it was like up in Michigan, Traverse City, 30 degrees.
This is beautiful. There's so many leaves and everything, and we get there. It's pouring down rain, freezing.
And do you see the camping story I told you? Like that's the area, dude. So like Brittany's like, this story is not real. I go, it was 3 days of rain. She goes, it doesn't do that. I go, I'm telling you. We bring her up to that area. It's Traverse City, Michigan. They get like the moisture and the lake effect, and I guess it's a thing in the summer and whatnot too, because it just pours rain up in that area.
Yeah, that story deserves its own podcast.
The camping podcast. Yeah, another story for another time. But Brittany's like, tell the story. I'm like, I
love the story.
I got 100 stories to tell. She's like, tell the camping one. I'm like, I've told it 3 times now, but she loves the stories. But hey, one thing also, Caleb, I love that you talked about on the Kid Contractor podcast, but something that you're doing also with the family is getting the kids to record like little snippets of them, like kind of.
I love that.
Talk about that idea. I thought it was really, in case anybody's listening in that they're family people. I thought this was a really fun idea that you came up with.
Well, a buddy of mine was doing it with his kid. They bought a podcaster board just strictly to do like just audio sessions with their kids. And I just thought that was neat, but it kind of just happened organically one day. Like, well, actually, when we got the Rode, we got it out. And for those of you looking this thing up, it's RODE, just like you see the mics and all the big YouTubers and all that stuff. RODE, Rode. Rodecaster Pro or something like that.
Yep.
Brian probably has an affiliate link.
No, I wish, dude.
Maybe Spencer does. I don't know.
Paul needs to, because he's probably sold 20 of them.
No joke. But the kids all thought the headsets were really cool, and you
can hear yourself.
So we all just put them on one afternoon, and everybody just kind of our 3-year-old just yelling into it because he just thought the sound in his ears was cool. But everybody's like just chatting around, and I want to try to do that like fairly semi-periodically. It'll be kind of cool.
But their voices right now are like they're like
small and
7, 4, and 3.
Yeah.
So they're voices are so little, and they still don't say all the words like correctly. Like Zeke says Lucy, Woosey.
Oh,
and so like it's all recorded.
It's
now.
cute, you know.
Yeah, and even if you don't have to have the roadcaster to do that. Like just for the heck of it, take a Friday night. This is just an idea I've got, and just record yourself having dinner. You'll thank me in 30 years.
Yeah.
The whole family having dinner sometime. Have a pizza night and just record the family having dinner. And I bet you won't regret that.
100%. I think it's really cool.
Brett, let's do that when we go home.
I'm pregnant and emotional.
I'm a softie too. I know. I'm a softie. I'm like, dang, that's a good idea. And I also thought like with my mom, you know, she's young but not young. You know what I mean? And she's got hopefully another 10, 15 years with us. But I want to do a couple.
We should do like Fullerton Momful Fridays or something.
Momful Fridays.
Like some wisdom, because your whole family forever has owned some sort of small business.
Yeah,
every generation.
But then I also don't need her to give out the secrets about why I'm as crazy as I am. I mean, she can like, you know, give some credibility to the story of me like literally eating toothpaste for a living for about 2 years. Do you guys ever hear that story?
Yeah, and that's
told
it to me, and it's weird.
Oh,
the fact that your mom bought and enabled you to eat the toothpaste is what gets me.
All right, I'm calling a timeout here. This is getting just a little weird for me to say that. Oh, that's something. Hey, you know, there are actually YouTube channels of people just eating food, and some people love the sound of others eating. They call it AMSR. That just stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. Fancy way of saying natural sounds. The current trend has people whispering, and you can find videos of people just whispering to you for hours on end. Of course, there's always one of my favorites, opening cans. No, it's not a beer. It's actually a Perrier. I've got a friend who gave me a whole bunch of it. Some people love just the sound of paper that's crinkling. You can find channels that actually have millions of views just of weird sounds. They actually say it helps people fall asleep, so I don't know if that's true or not. I am definitely not falling asleep on this episode, and I'm guessing, going out on a limb here, it might even get a little weirder. So stick around to find out.
Hey, Lenny Magno with Exmark here with some food for thought when it comes to choosing the right zero-turn mowers. What do you value in a zero-turn mower? Productivity, reliability, cut quality, or a combination of each? At Exmark, we're constantly listening to our customers to ensure our Laser Z mowers deliver the right features, productivity, and uptime performance to help them grow their business. Visit Exmark.com to learn about the innovations that make the Laser Z the green industry's most trusted zero-turn mower.
We're talking lawns, lessons, and life. It's the Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast. Here's Brian.
But then I also don't need her to give out the secrets about why I'm as crazy as I am. I mean, she can like, you know, give some credibility to the story of me like literally eating toothpaste for a living for about 2 years. Do you guys ever hear that story?
Yeah,
and
Liz told it to me, and it's weird.
The fact that your mom bought and enabled you to eat the toothpaste is what gets me. It's one thing
you guys listening in are like, what did you just hear?
After this week, I know so much about you, Brian.
You even saw his underwear. Brian Fullerton left his underwear for the entire house to see on the counter.
Let's go deeper than this.
Oh, gosh.
Whoa.
Were they clean or dirty?
They were
underwear?
Dirty undies.
Listen, guys.
Just because you're a celebrity doesn't give you...
No, I'm not a celebrity.
Right on the breakfast counter, right next to the refrigerator in the sink, there's a pair of Brian's tidy whities.
There were like 3 of them.
Tidy whities.
Jesus. Paul Jameson
in the background.
He's cackling like a horse right now. Dude, listen. I had my underwear in my hands, okay, fam, and I'm getting out of the shower. At least I'm wearing another pair, you know what I mean?
His third shower for the day at 4 o'clock.
We get sweaty and greasy, and I had like a head thing, so like I was trying to just take hot showers and clear my nose out. And so I went to the fridge to grab a Red Bull, and I sat them down for like 1 second, and then...
You walked away from them.
I did walk away from them, and then I got chastised for the next day. These people kicked me while I'm down the whole week.
Popped up all over the house.
They did. To be fair, I think I've seen 3 total pairs of Paul's men's underwear.
Paul's guy, Frank, somebody had some like Lycra type tight shorts, and I was like,
tiny.
whose bicycle shorts are these? And Frank, he was like... kind of like the odd man out. Frank is one of friends Paul's from church, and he's kind of his like temporary cameraman.
Yeah.
Well, Frank comes over, and he's a physicist. Okay, imagine like is stereotypical. You know, the circular glasses. Very analytical, pointed on your nose, like he's a physicist. And he comes over and he goes, well, those aren't mine. They're way too small. And dude, we laughed so freaking hard.
Everybody blamed them on Naylor. I think
Naylor?
Yeah.
Naylor's got like the like Rapace.
But I found Paul's underwear this morning in the kitchen. Like,
that's hype house life, man.
I gave them to you.
What are you sitting? What are you doing?
Never gave them to
you?
you?
Whose were they?
We don't know.
Did I throw them away? Oh,
they weren't Paul's. So Brittany had a random pair of underwear.
Like,
Sorry,
no.
Kayla, this is awkward.
Whatever.
Brittany's like, whose are these? And I'm like, those aren't Kayla. She goes, I don't think so. And there's a little sus.
I looked at them and I was like, oh, there's no. Never mind.
There's no scratch marks.
Yeah.
So yeah.
This podcast went downhill.
Yeah. Too many stories of Fullerton.
Sorry, Mr. Producer.
Yeah. Too many fun stories of Fullerton getting thrown under the bus this whole week. I mean, I was looking for some help,
You
but
might
nobody.
have gotten thrown under the bus, but poor Sean Spencer got thrown under the.
You drove him under the bus. That's because you backed up on him. I think I talked about that in another episode. I was like, you can't run over Sean Spencer.
You
lawn
guys will
care.
have to check out the content from the week because there's just so many stories.
Oh, there's so many good videos.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so
I
great.
kind of feel like we're all like a family now.
I know.
Like,
We've eaten dinner like every night together, breakfast. Like you guys have all seen me without my eyebrows.
If you guys are
Liz
listening,
and I are like sisters.
Yeah, we got ready together every single morning.
Yeah, I know that because I didn't get access to the bathroom this whole week.
Yeah, that's next house.
I don't know how much time you need in the bathroom.
We had
There
All
were
of it.
3 girls in there for an hour and a half one morning. I'm like, what is?
And Caleb and I need 9
Sorority.
minutes, like
Sorority,
separately.
yeah.
It's like, can we just get 10 minutes? And like, no.
You guys can room together next year, Brittany. And the
Yeah,
girls will
Liz
take the
said that
bus.
we
Can
could
you
get the bus.
imagine
the hype house
without the ladies keeping the place half under control from us animals in there?
Fair.
I can't imagine like a dude's frat.
It was
Frat
funny.
hype
We were
house.
coming up
Frat
the
hype
stairs
house.
yesterday
Social
after
media.
the,
It'd be a riot.
the hot tub, and we're like, man, it looks kind of like a frat house. I can't imagine if like they were drinkers, like, and there was like,
Yeah.
Yeah, there was
That
like no
happening.
drinkers in the house this
and
time.
it
God.
still looked like a bomb went off. I can't imagine.
Instead of like beer cans everywhere, it was water bottles.
It's so
Water
many
bottles
water bottles.
and Hall wrappers. What's that? Half
Oh
drink.
yeah, I don't think we jumped out like
Because
full water bottles.
it's like that right now. There's 4 bottles in the room. Everybody's got them a half drink or a third drink because you just sip on them for your podcast or for your YouTube videos. And there's nothing but Hall wrappers everywhere.
There's
my marker.
Marker.
We started marking our bottles, but also don't forget Mitchell and his Bang Energy drinks at 6 in the morning.
Mitchell's doing that?
Yeah.
What the heck, man?
Dude, yeah, he's
hardcore.
Spencer's direct.
What's that?
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah, I just say, don't you talk, Fullerton.
No, man. I went through a case of.
Spencer's-
I went through a 12-pack of Red Bull in like 4 days on my own, man.
Spencer's
I got to deal with you people, man. You guys are crazy, dude. Like,
Everybody else in the house was
I'm
morning
innocent.
people, and we're like, we get up at like
dude,
9.
we picked the
Liz
room.
did pretty good.
We picked the room that
Yeah.
was like right off the kitchen. I don't know why or how. And
you said it was
You
the
picked
nicest
it.
one.
I didn't pick it.
Yes, you did.
picked it. We asked you which one you wanted, and you go, I like
Caleb
this
helped me
one.
out. Why am I getting?
You're like,
knew
I like the
these
fireplace.
women-
I didn't even know what house we were in. I thought we were going to a totally
Brian.
different house, so I was completely shocked.
How cold was your room on the first night?
Oh my god! Like
You clung to me like a little koala bear cling to like
folks,
a eucalyptus
it's
tree.
80 degrees in Tampa. It was 50 degrees in our room. I was like a little Eskimo living. And then somebody said, "Well, it's warm here. Just open up the doors." Somebody was like, "It's nice. Don't worry about it. Stop complaining." And I'm like, "No, I had like a literal head cold." People are like, "Oh, you had COVID." I had a little head cold because I was plowing snow and I was freezing cold. I'm trying to take a hot shower and like not get crushed by this. Like I was plowing snow and the snowstorm ends at midnight. So then we went out for 10 hours and then I had 3 hours of sleep, another 3 hours of sleep the day after. We flew out in 2 jet planes. Folks, I got crushed. So I was out for like 2-3 days. And but all these people like kicking me while I'm down, leaving doors open. It was 50 degrees in that room, dude. We could not get the air to turn off in this house. I was like, turn it off, rip it out. I'll buy another heating system. I don't care.
It had 2 different. Each room had a thermostat, and then it had 2 different all-house thermostats.
Master ones.
The ones in the rooms didn't work, but then we couldn't figure out which one. I don't know because there's 3 levels to the house. It was
We had to
very
call maintenance
confusing.
in.
This thing's
Yeah.
a concrete bunker, dude. Like
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
pretty
hurricane, ready home. I mean, it's a $3 million concrete jungle in there, and but we couldn't figure out how to work the master heaters and cooler or air conditioners, and I was just
By the
getting
end of the week,
crushed.
we had it figured out. So next year, we just have to stay for 2.
Yeah, when I was finally get on the come up, like on Thursday, like we figured out how the air works, and I was like,
You came out the first day with like a sweatshirt and your hood up.
I was like, folks, why is it 50 degrees in this house? And y'all were like, oh, I don't know, man, it's all you.
Our room was nice. Spencer's were cold though.
Well, the
'Cause they
Spencers were
below
underneath us. Actually,
we're on the same side of the house.
Savannah came up the next morning and she's like, "Why is it so freaking cold in our room?" She's like, "I've never had the shivers." She said it was freezing cold in her room
Yeah.
too because
Well, it's because our thermostat on that side. It was all one side of the house. It wasn't floor by floor. It was like left side, right side, which is I've never seen.
I've never been in a house where, that's the thing. It wasn't room to room or like floor to floor. It was one side of the house versus the other side of the house. I wonder if that's like something with like how the Florida thing or like a hurricane house thing, because these homes are on the coast. But hey, last night though, I gotta say, maybe we'll button up right here, but we did have a really cool walk out to the beach yesterday with the Auman. It was
cool.
It was kind of this like last minute. It was like almost midnight. We're walking out and going through this super dark tunnel of trees to the beach, and then like we're walking on the whitest, sandiest, softest sand beach I've ever been on. Honestly, we've been on cruises and I've never seen.
It was beautiful. The sand was just so fine.
It was so fine.
Welcome to the Gulf. It's gorgeous, man. I love it. I love the Gulf.
I've never seen sand like that. It was so beautiful. Shout out to all my Florida people, because you guys got a beautiful state here. And but we walk out to the coast, and there's a lightning storm, thunderstorm out in the maybe 50 miles out. And I think it was like kind of threading the needle. Half of it was going to Tampa, half of it was going south of us, wherever that is. And Caleb's like, we're in the hot tub, and Caleb with all the girls, and Caleb goes, hey, let's go to the beach and see this thing. We had a blocked view. What do you guys think about that view? That was pretty nice.
Yeah, it was cool. It wasn't beautiful. The lightning wasn't as intense as it seemed like it was. I was kind of disappointed in that. But still, just going out at the ocean at night, it's really.
Caleb's like, I want a hurricane.
It's like
more violent.
Get me scared.
More lightning, please.
But standing along the ocean, especially at night, man, that reminds you of just. Golly, you are so at the mercy of nature, and just like
Liz says she feels more powerful.
Control. Really,
I love storms on the water, like big waves. Like they're scary, but like standing there in the face of like something like that makes me feel more powerful.
Oh wow, neat. That's
little,
cool.
But like it helps you like come to terms with like your own like humanity. I think in a way.
That's
we're getting real deep now. It went from undies. To
Really. Man, that took
it really was cool though. Like I feel like that's one of the memories from the trip, that like nobody had cameras, nobody was recording anything. Like it was just us at like midnight on the beach, and I think that was a really cool little memory for us to take back.
We got to put our feet like 6 inches into the water and just seeing the water splash up but then all over the place there's signs.
So
It was freezing cold.
Yeah, the water was very cold, but it's just, to me, when I get out there when it's dark and it's just like, man, this thing could swallow you up, you disappear forever, and it's just like very humbling of like, man, I'm gone and the world doesn't know it. It's just like it keeps me I guess in those circumstances, like humbles me and then keeps things in perspective sometimes. Like so I get all like introspective and stuff when I get in those kind of scenarios.
All you have to do is put me on that dang bridge and I'll get humbled real quick.
Yeah, how was that coming over the Skyway?
Oh my God. So funny story. I'll wrap up with one last one. You guys know Mitchell Gordy. Mitchell Gordy is awesome. And I don't think anybody in this room, I think Sean was in the truck with me, with Mitchell. And there's I told the story about us going through the park construction with Mitchell Gordy. If not, look for the Mitchell Gordy podcast episode. Is a few before this or a few after this. But anyway, super fun times. Well, we're driving over a bridge, a smaller bridge, and what's this bridge out here, the big one called?
The Sky Bridge.
The Sky Bridge. A huge bridge. I mean, folks, it's like, it literally goes up like solid 15-degree grade for like, a mile, and it makes the Mackinac Bridge like tiny.
We've realized that it just, because it goes up so quickly.
Yeah.
The Mackinac is definitely bigger and higher, I think, even.
Yeah.
But because
this one's straight up, man.
It looks like a 90-degree angle.
It looks like an escalator straight up, and when you can't see the horizon anymore because you're looking at the stars,
that freaks me out. It feels like a roller coaster.
Yeah, well, and so God bless Mitchell Gordy, because he's so like he's a trooper, you know what I mean?
He's observant.
He's very observant. He profiles, in a good way. Like he pays attention to the details, right? So we're driving back yesterday.
He has great situational awareness.
This is that's probably the best way to say it. He's very observant, and so we're
observed. Did not want to go across this bridge.
Well, we're coming back over a bridge when we were all going out to eat after the meetup, and he goes, Brian, can I ask you a question? And I'm like, what do you say to that? Yeah? I'm like, yes, Mitchell, what's up? He goes, I don't want to overstep my bounds here, but I just wanted to ask you a question and just get a little bit more information on the situation.
What's wrong with your wife?
And he's like, he's very so regimented, like he's filling out a TPS report here. And I'm like, what's up? He goes, well, I just noticed that Liz kind of clams up. She gets a little anxious and she seems a little uncomfortable on bridges. Is that something I need to know a little bit more information on? Or is she okay? Or is there something else going on there? I'm like, Mitchell, that's a great question, bro. Like, I don't know.
Scared she's gonna grab the wheel or something.
Dude, well, he goes. I just happened to notice that I seen her on your stories.
Is your wife unstable?
Yeah. He goes. That's what he said. He goes, I just want to know that if I take a bridge, he's not gonna freak out. And I think is what he was really asking. And I go, Mitchell, that's a really funny question. And the way he asked it, just. I don't know. Just I started laughing so hard. I'm like, Mitchell, you're so funny, bro. Like,
it's not every bridge. That bridge and like those big ones, I don't like.
Well, I said, well, there's nothing with Liz and bridges. I said she just doesn't like heights, and she doesn't want to, have the car, go over the.
I do better when I'm
like everybody else.
Like when I'm the one driving.
Care.
Yeah.
If I was driving, it wouldn't be nearly as bad because I'm in control.
I told Mitchell, I said, here's the best way I can sum it up. Don't do the little shimmy on the wheel and do the little fake out. He goes, oh no, that'll definitely, Brian, that'll definitely set you back. And I go, it does.
I think it's hilarious that he was like,
he was so concerned. He goes, is there anything else I need to know about her?
Yeah, like freaking crazy, man.
Like it was almost like blink if you're in trouble, like something like that. I go, I don't think so, Mitchell. He goes, but she's solid. I go, she's solid. And he goes,
he thinks he's the one.
It was so funny. I'm like,
but she's pregnant. So.
he the way he asked it was so respectful, and I felt like he was going through his checklist report from like a sheet back at home.
Because there was like a few points where I asked, like, are we going over the? Because if I can prepare myself, like usually it goes
fair.
better.
You
like,
did ask
do we
that.
have to go over the bridge? Like, are we going over the bridge? Like, and then we didn't even go over the bridge.
Yeah, that is fair because he was so kind, so respectful. He's like, we can get a ferry and not have to hit the bridge. He was like very concerned about all. He's such an observant, like you said, situational aware. And I felt good having him. I felt good having him with us this whole time.
Yeah.
He's a solid dude too. I haven't got to meet him prior to this or even talk to him at all. Like really, actually at all, other than in like the group thing we had going on. And dude, he's a solid guy, and he's cool to talk to. We had some cool conversations too about lawn care and his other job as a state trooper for North Carolina. It's neat and the stuff they deal with.
I'll say last thing because I wrapped this up three times now, right? Like I feel like I'm Joel Osteen over here. But the last thing I'll say is when we went to the restaurant, I forget the name of it again, Wine Exchange maybe. Yeah. It was a really good restaurant on the Strip, and folks, there was Rolls Royces and Bentleys and Teslas all over. There's a lot of Teslas there.
Yeah,
and
a lot of Teslas.
There was a valet spot right next to our tables. We were outdoor dining, and it was a really good time. But when we were coming in and leaving, I swear, there was more heads turning for Mitchell's truck than there was for like the Lambo that was parked there. The Lambo vodka, some vodka.
I was so worried about that thing in that parking
garage. That truck?
Because we were in front of you, so we were looking back, like, are they going to make it?
Is they going to make it?
And as you crested the hill to like get in, because of the headlights, we couldn't see anymore, like if you were good or not.
Yeah.
Then it took you guys so long to get up to the top. We're like, oh my gosh, you didn't make it out.
I told the story. I was laughing so hard, like, and on my Instagram stories, I was like, Mitchell, you're crazy to come in here with this thing. That's a big truck.
Yeah,
but
it's tight.
Well, I was gonna say, while we're on the Strip, everybody was like, "Oh, look at there's a Bentley, nobody cares. There's Teslas all over the place, nobody cares." Mitchell's truck, there's a big diesel Cummins going down the road. People are like, "What is that thing?" And I guess they don't do big trucks down here, man. Everybody's got sports cars and convertibles.
It's a big, clean, good. It's not a hillbilly rig. Like it's a good, clean looking, nice truck. It's gorgeous,
solid setup. I did a video with it. If you guys want to watch, we did an old series, Truck Talk Tuesday, talking about my truck, and I said, Mitchell.
One of those in a while.
Well, I mean, I'm not really in the market for a truck, but I know a lot of these guys are, and a lot of folks like the Rams, and so that Dodge Ram that he has, it's a mint setup. So check that out on YouTube. It'll be part of the Truck Talk Tuesday playlist. But if you guys also haven't subscribed to Mitchell Gordy's channel on YouTube, he's up and comer, man. I gave him a little nudge about 7-8 months ago in July. We did a podcast episode, and he's like, I don't got time. And I'm like, we talked for an hour about YouTube. We did a podcast for an hour, and then we hung out for another hour, so 3 hours. And by the time we were done, he's like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm like, do it, man. Start a YouTube channel. He's like, I don't have time. I don't have this. I'm like, dude, you have great content. You're a great dude. People want to see what you got going on. And he's almost up to 2,000 subscribers, babe. So we got a little running buddy for the Almonds,
He's building a shop too, and I'm going to be watching that because we're going to be trying to build a shop here in the next, hopefully, 6 months. Yeah, so I'm watching all the shop videos I can find.
I know. I think we can make ours smaller. After he said how big his was, I was like, okay.
His is 50 by 60 or 50 by 80. It's big. Yeah, and he's doing all steel building. He actually saved me time and money. We were talking things. I'm pulling the whole plug on what I was going to do, and I'm reevaluating some things.
Really?
100%. From who I was going with and the way we were going to design it, because I was going to go wood, but wood would have trusses that go across the along top, but also support columns. And he said steel, you can have wide open.
Yeah.
And I didn't think about that. So
well, depending on the truss style. I mean, you can go pole barn or wood with different engineered trusses and stuff. But that's a whole nother conversation for another day.
Oh, he was like, hey, I got some suggestions, and he gave me a couple contact for some different people. So shout out to Mitchell Gordy. He gets the love on the podcast all the time. But you know what? He shares the podcast, so that's why we love him, right? So, but hey, final thoughts. Anybody want to wrap up with anything? But if not, we're gonna button this thing up. We're gonna catch some planes here in just a few minutes. So.
Yeah, network with good people. Find good people to hang out with. Cut the bad ones out of your life, and you'll be surprised how it elevates yourself and your thinking.
Amen to that. Miss Britt, executioner.
Execute. I'm just happy to be here.
Is she the executioner? Is she the executor?
Don't call her
the executor. Executor.
I'm just the person that makes things happen.
Oh, there you go.
How are you now? Oh my.
Caleb's like, I call it the executioner.
Yeah, I'm on a chopping block. Yeah, that's me. That sounds about right.
Yeah, babe, anything you got really quick? If not, we'll button it up.
Don't forget to mention Together in the Trades while I got them on.
Caleb, can you plug this? Because you say it better than anybody.
We're hosting in Waco, Texas on June 12th.
See how he perked up? He's ready. Put me in, coach.
It's time to step it up. Together in the Trades. It's a summit for couples in business. And the goal is what I've been saying here, that the subheading is the goal is to arm you with the information and techniques and tactics to keep you from getting divorced if you run a company together, or maybe to make it a little bit smoother, because it's rough, right? Like we both of us here know, and the Spencer's in the room, and like it's tough running a company together when you're married to yourselves and you're married to that company, and tactfully navigating the challenges of that is a big deal. And so this conference, or whatever we're calling it there, is like, we've got some great speakers coming in, some folks that know a thing or two about running companies together. It's going to be a really good event, and it's in Waco. So the guys, you get an extra win-win there on the Waco thing. Get over to Magnolia. It's closed on Sunday. Magnolia's closed on Sunday, so keep that in your plans. You want to get there earlier and take a day and go over to Waco or Magnolia, because it is the Chip and Joanna Gaines thing, because it's cool over there. I even like going over there. It's cool.
Amen to that. You can get tickets. We'll leave the links in my profile, Brittany's profile, everybody's profile. You can get those tickets. It's through Eventbrite. If you might even Google it, it might come on up. But once you get it does. Okay, cool. Together in the Trades. But once you get your ticket, you get a confirmation email, and in that confirmation email, pay attention to this. There is a private Facebook group that we have set up for it.
It's exclusive for just people attending the events. We've actually had some people that aren't a part of the event trying to get in that are from our community. Unfortunately, we're just keeping it restricted to people who will be attending the events to network and communicate, especially about travel, and hopefully it expands from there. But yeah, so like Brian said, tickets are available in I think all of our profiles.
Yeah.
And if you just search on Google.
Yeah, awesome. So that's going to be in early part of June. It's going to be a great time, and get away for a couple days. Just it's on a Saturday, but come on down Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and you'll be home by Sunday.
Friday, we're going to be doing a meetup. I'm not sure logistics of it yet, but probably Friday afternoon at the Silos.
Absolutely.
Sweet.
All right, guys. Well, let's do this. Let's button it up right here. Let's kick it back over to Marty in the ATL to bring you guys the rest of the show, sponsors, announcements. We really appreciate you guys listening in, as you guys know, and hopefully you get a couple nuggets of wisdom in this one, but also just a little bit of entertainment maybe as you guys are out there, doing the spring cleanups, maybe already mowing that grass and, making that cash, as my friend Paul Jamison says. So, all right, guys. Well, that's it for this episode of Fullerton Unfiltered. We can't wait to catch up with you guys here on the next one.
Brian, for the most part, that was a banger show. I actually wanted to make a Brian's 10 joke back at the underwear story, but no one's buying that. Hey, we're going to leave details about Together in the Trades in the notes. And, of course, you heard them mention Caleb's new podcast, the Kid Contractor Podcast, now available on Apple, Google, Spotify. We're working on distribution to some other platforms. I think it's also on the Audible app. Just search for Kid Contractor Podcast. And before we jet, once again, thanks to Xmark for sponsoring this edition of Fullerton Unfiltered.
Hey, Lenny Magno with Xmark here with some food for thought when it comes to choosing the right zero-turn mowers. What do you value in a zero-turn mower? Productivity, reliability, cut quality, or a combination of each? At Xmark, we're constantly listening to our customers to ensure our Laser Z mowers deliver the right features, productivity, and uptime performance to help them grow their business. Visit xmark.com to learn about the innovations that make the Laser Z the green industry's most trusted zero-turn mower.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.